Arpeggiators, the art of pressing some keys and hope for the best. We love arpeggios, they are a really nice ear candy, but as many people are using them, you need to make your arpeggios stand out. So today I'm going to show you 3 unique ways you can make your own arpeggios so they sound more interesting. Also, if you like this tutorial, subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. That means the world to me and that motivates me to make more videos. And if you want to support this channel even further, check out my Patreon, link is in the description of this video. I have different benefits, so definitely go check them out. So, without further ado, let's go! Arpeggios, as I said, are a really nice ear candy, and if you know how to apply some techniques to make them more interesting, you will end up with better results and more engaging sounds. Let's start with tip number 1. Usually, when you play a chord on an arpeggiator, you will have a result like this, which is nice, but on the long run it can be a little bit tiring. Not only that, this is a really common way of playing arpeggio, and we are here to think about unique ways to make it different. In context, the arpeggio sounds like this. I'm using here the Dream Synth for this example. Of course, the first intuition you may have is to add some effects like chorus, delay, and even reverbs, so you can give depth to the sound. But it's still the same basic sound. The first tip is that as a synthesizer have a lot of different modulation options, like this one right here, which is an amazing synthesizer by Cherry Audio, is that you take advantage of that and start modulating things in sync with your arpeggiator. The arpeggio right here is, well, in sync with my DAW and is currently on 1/8 triplets. So the idea is that, for example, you take an LFO and you sync it to your DAW and you put it on the same rate. For this kind of exercise, I love to use a random modulation. The idea is that you sync your randomization to the rate of the arpeggio. So now you can use this randomization to affect something on the sound. For example, here I'm affecting the cutoff point. So let's put this a little bit back and let's start modulating the cutoff frequency. Now we have a random cutoff point each time the gate of the arpeggio is on. That means that every note on the arpeggio is going to have a different cutoff point, and as I'm using a lot of resonance, we also have that nice resonant filter going on. But as it's random, it's going to give you different results every time. And you can apply this same principle to different things. For example, each oscillator on the synthesizer can crossfade between 2 oscillators. So what if we use the random modulation of the LFO2 to start changing these 2 simple oscillators, a sawtooth wave and a pulse? Not only that, you can put one of these oscillators on a higher octave. And this is already a really interesting arpeggio that it has the same structure, but it has also different sounds each time it's playing. And let's use the third and final LFO to do something like, I don't know, let's sync the oscillator 3 to oscillator 1, and at its sync we can modulate the tuning of the third oscillator to give us that syncing kind of effect. And now we have a really interesting sound. This is a simple exercise that can go a long way. You can apply these LFOs to other parameters to make even more variations, and not only that, you may also try with different rates, but that may not work all the time. Tip number 2, it's all about using the arpeggios to easily make odd time signatures. Let me explain first how an arpeggiator works. For example, here I have the June 6 by Arturia, and let me simplify these arpeggios so you know what I'm saying. I have a 2-octave range, which when we play one note, give us this, which is a rhythm you can count like 1, 2, 1, 2. If we add another note, we will have something like this. The first was 1, 2, 1, 2, and now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we add a third one, suddenly it's counting on 6. So if we combine these ways of playing, we have different time signatures interchanging with each other. And that gives us strange results that are still on time because they have the rate of the arpeggiator. The thing is that something as simple as programming something like this on your piano roll is going to give you weird results that sound like if you are playing in a weird time signature, so all your friends are going to think that you are really intelligent. The thing is that as we are still pressing some notes, the arpeggio is interchanging the amount of notes it has, and also as we are cutting, for example, this C right here, or we are cutting this C and this A right here, and they are not starting at the same time, the different amount of notes that are going to be played are going to be stopped before they can complete what they're meant to complete. So let me show you in context so you can understand better why this is so powerful to make weird time signatures that's going to give you a really great result, but is easy to program. Again, this is going to give you amazing results to use arpeggios to make interesting rhythms and sequences that have complex time signatures interchanging, and as you could hear, you can also add other notes in other ways so you have other results. And finally, tip number 3 is using polymeters to modulate different stuff, but now it's not on a random matter like tip number 1, but is on different sequences playing at the same time. The easiest way to do it is with something like the sequencer from Pigments, which have this polyrhythm, which in reality it's a polymeter engine right here. And I think that if I show you how this works, you will understand also how a polymeter works. So pay close attention. Right now, the arpeggio sounds like this. The thing is that if you don't have this polyrhythmic thing on, well, you still can start changing things like the octaves, the probability of the triggers, the gate length, the slide, the velocity, and so on. So, for example, you can say that the first note is always 1 octave above. which already gives you interesting results. Or you can change the gate length of one, maybe change the trigger probability of other, and add a slide on the fourth one. But the thing is that this is still a common sequence. It's still something that you can predict. So if we put this polyrhythmic on, as you can see, we can have different lengths for each of these stuff. For example, we have a length of 14 for the velocity, 9 for the octave, 15 for the trigger probability, 11 for the gate length, and 16 for the slide. Why not? So you will see that these are going to be on sync, like on time, but they are going to go separate ways, so to speak, in just a moment. So now we have something a bit more different, because now every 9 steps the octaves are reset, giving you different octaves to the arpeggio. But the trigger probability is now not in sync, so it's not always the second one that is going to be off, at least not the second one in the line of the octave, the same with gate length and the slide. But to make it more noticeable, let's use the velocity to affect the cutoff point. So now we have something like this. And that's going to give you an arpeggio with, well, the structure of the notes of the arpeggio, but with different results each time they are playing. Different cutoff points thanks to the velocity, different octaves, and maybe not every note is going to be triggered, and you will have some slide here and there. We can go even further if we add something that we learned on the first tip of the video, adding a random modulator to affect something different. So we're combining the knowledge of the first tip with the abilities of the polymeters of pigments. And those are my 3 tips to make more unique arpeggios. If you like these ways to make your arpeggios more interesting, subscribe to the channel and also give the video a like, and comment down below which one of the 3 you find the most interesting one. So I will leave you to practice and to come up with your own ways of mangling your sounds, and I will see you around. Thank you for watching, bye bye.